It's pretty wild when you think about it. A pill that was made in India can be medically 100% identical to one that was made in a factory in Germany. So how is that even possible? Well, there's this complex, almost invisible process that makes it all happen. And it's what guarantees your medicine is safe and effective no matter where it's produced. Today, we're going to pull back that curtain and look at the world of pharmaceutical technology transfer.
So yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? How do they do it? I can tell you it's definitely not magic, and it's for sure not a coincidence. It's a highly controlled, super systematic procedure that ensures a drug's secret recipe can be perfectly copied anywhere on the planet. And we are about to break down exactly how that works.
Okay, so first things first, why would a company even move its manufacturing in the first place? It seems like a ton of work, right? Well, it's rarely a simple logistical choice. It's almost always a strategic one. Maybe a company just got too big for its original factory, or maybe it wants to get a foothold in a new market. Let's look at some of the main reasons.
A lot of the time, it just comes down to business. A company might need to seriously scale up production to beat a huge spike in demand. Or maybe two companies merge and it just makes sense to bring their operations under one roof. Other times, it's about breaking into a new region or making the drug locally is just way more efficient. The key thing to remember is that this isn't some rare event. It's a constant, moving part of the global pharmaceutical game.
Now, it's so much on the line. I mean, we're talking about people's health. You can't just pack up a few machines and a recipe book and call it a day. To handle all this complexity, the industry leans on a global standard. And this is where the World Health Organization, the WHO, comes in with the master plan.
So the WHO has this formal definition for technology transfer. Let's look at the keywords here: logical, controls, documentation, and expertise. See, this tells you it's not just about moving physical equipment. It's really about transferring knowledge. It's a careful, systematic handover of the entire process from A to Z.
And what's the ultimate goal of all this? Well, it's simple to say, but incredibly hard to do. The new factory has to prove, without a doubt, that it can perfectly replicate the product. We're not talking close enough. We're talking about demonstrating the ability to nail every single critical step of the process exactly like the original site did. No exceptions.
So who are the people actually involved in this high-stakes handover? Well, every single technology transfer has two main teams, and each one has a super important role to play. Let's meet them.
All right, so on one side, you have the sending unit, or SU. You can think of them as the original master chefs who invented the recipe. They've got all the experience, all the notes, all the secrets. Then, on the other side, you've got the receiving unit, or RU. This is the new kitchen. Their job is to learn that recipe, master all the techniques, and prove they can make the final dish taste exactly the same every single time.
And you can bet, this isn't all based on a friendly handshake. The whole relationship is locked down by a formal legal agreement. This document is absolutely crucial because it spells out every single responsibility for both teams, making sure there's zero confusion and that everyone is accountable for their part of the deal.
Okay, now we're getting to the real heart of it, the secret recipe itself. And while that's a cool way to think about it, the amount of information that actually has to be transferred is just mind-boggling. It goes way, way beyond a simple list of ingredients. First up, you've got the star of the show, the active pharmaceutical ingredient, or API. This is the stuff in the medicine that actually does the work. The sending unit has to provide every last detail about it. Who makes it, its exact physical form down to the particle size, how pure it is, and any special instructions for storing and handling it. Next, you've got the supporting cast, the excipients. These are things like preservatives, the binders that hold a tablet together, or stuff that controls how thick a liquid medicine is. Now, don't let the term inactive fool you. You need to know everything about these, from their moisture content to how they act under pressure. They are absolutely critical for the quality of the final product.
And then, finally, you have the actual cookbook, the instructions. And I'm not just talking about mix A with B. No way. This is a complete production blueprint. We're talking about the exact layout of the facility, a list of every single piece of equipment with its make and model, a super detailed flowchart of the process, all the quality checkpoints along the way, the packaging specs, and even the precise cleaning methods to prevent contamination. The level of detail is insane because if you get even one step wrong, you could end up with a drug that doesn't work, or worse.
So all this information gets transferred, the new factory starts making the medicine, but how do you actually know if it worked? How do you prove that the new stuff is truly identical to the original? This brings us to the final, and I'd say most critical phase of the whole process.
The new product gets put through a whole battery of intense tests.
You can really think of it as the ultimate taste test. For instance, an assay test checks the drug's potency to make sure it's just as strong as the original. A dissolution test checks how the drug releases inside the body, which is crucial for it to work right. And of course, they check for any impurities to make sure the new product is just as pure. The goal is always the same. The results have to be statistically identical to the product from the original factory.
And honestly, this quote from the WHO document just nails it. It really sums up the whole thing perfectly. Success isn't about making one good batch. Success is having documented proof that the new factory can routinely, as in day in and day out, and consistently make the product to the exact same high standards. So, the next time you take any medication, you can feel pretty confident that there's this incredibly robust global system making sure it's safe and effective, no matter where on Earth it was made. This whole invisible framework is really a masterpiece of science and logistics. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? What other hidden global standards are out there, working behind the scenes to shape and protect our daily lives?